I'm engaged. How do I get married? I'm your host, Kevin Dennis. In addition to leading the charge at Wedding IQ, I also run Fantasy Sound Event Services, a lighting and entertainment company based in Livermore, California, that I founded over 35 years ago. Each week on this podcast, we'll explore a new corner of the wedding planning so you can prepare for your I-dos without the stress. From budgeting to booking vendors to day of drama, let's talk smart wedding planning. All right. Well, welcome to a special episode of Now That I'm Engaged, How Do I Get Married? Where we have our very special guest, Rian Harper Dennis, in here to answer questions. Should you have kids at your wedding? So, Rian, we're going to start with that question. Should you have kids at the wedding?
Yes.
All right. So you think so. All right.
We
want to welcome she's pro. Of course, she's going to be pro kid. So, all right. Welcome our listeners back. So the purpose of our podcast is to provide real world advice and education for engaged couples planning their weddings. Also, our goal is to help you feel at peace and confident on your journey to I do, enjoying everything the wedding planning process, everything about it instead of the, stress, stress,
Boo.
right? So boo to stress. So we're going to be doing weekly episodes on and helping our couples get there. So do you like attending weddings, Rian?
Yeah.
All right. Can you tell us about some of the favorite things you did at a wedding?
Well, I really like dancing at the weddings, and I like playing outside.
Oh.
And the food.
And the food was good too?
Dancing is my favorite part. Do you have a special dance move that we should all know about?
No, I don't.
Oh, man. I was hoping to pick something up. I have a wedding this weekend, and I needed a signature dance move.
You're not going to help August out?
Still no. That's okay. Maybe next time.
Maybe.
All right. So this is the controversial question when it comes to weddings. And I think the answer is going to be different for everyone. There's not like one size fits all when it comes to this. But Rian, I'm going to already know your answer to this, but should kids be invited to weddings?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's, I guess, people that are going to say no, right?
Uh-huh.
So then I think going through today's episode is we're going to help a few people, because I still think you need a flower girl and a ring bearer is still really cute. And then, so you're going to have some accommodations for some kids at most weddings. So I always find most of the weddings that I have, if they have just a couple kids, usually it's the, probably the couple's, immediate family members have children. So they're nieces or nephews, and they include them because you want your family members close by, right?
And correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but I'm thinking since, Rian has taken a very pro-kid approach, I feel like we're just going to kind of focus on what accommodations can be made or adjustments can be made to the planning if you do decide to invite kids. Because anyone who's not inviting kids, this episode's not really for them unless they're kind of considering it. So I think we'll kind of talk through what are some things that you could incorporate if you do have a lot of kiddos attending.
Yep, I agree 100%. So Rian, you said you love the dancing and you love the food, but do you remember any specific part of the wedding, like the bride walking down the aisle or anything special that happened during the wedding?
I just like dancing and the food and the outside parts.
She's a simple creature, Yeah. That's all she needs.
All right. All right. Do you think weddings are more fun than regular parties?
I think regular parties are funner than weddings.
Oh.
What parts of those parties are more fun than weddings?
It's because there's probably more kids at parties than there are at weddings.
Okay.
That's fair.
But our goal today is to make weddings more fun for kids, right? Okay. You're so funny. All right. Do you think it's fun when kids get to dance at weddings?
Definitely.
Yeah, I thought you would answer that. What songs that you like to dance to at weddings?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Yeah. I don't know.
Do you like pop music
I
or rock?
don't really know. I like a lot of music.
I will tell you, she's not a Taylor Swift fan. She's
No,
like,
no. No.
of all her friends, she's like,
no.
and I think it's because all her friends like it, so she's trying to be different. So
okay, but then if you're taking such an extreme stance, Ryan, who are your favorite artists?
Oh, this
I like
is easy.
Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, well, you'll be pleased to know I'm actually going to go see her in 2 days. I'm very excited. Big Olivia fan here.
I think that's all the music I like.
Just Olivia Rodrigo?
I like a lot of other music, but those are like from other artists. Like, I don't like I like some of other artists' music, not like a lot of it, but I do like a lot of Olivia Rodrigo music.
So if Good For You came on at a wedding, would you run to the dance floor?
Yes.
What other of her songs?
I don't know a lot of the names of them, but probably a bunch of songs from the Sour album.
Okay. Well, Kevin,
right.
do you have those on your playlist as a DJ?
I can have them ready to go for her at a moment's notice. Ready to go. All right. But with that said, so you said you had specific songs that you like, but can you still find fun in dancing to all the adult songs that they have at the wedding? Because I've seen you do it, and I think the answer is yes. I've seen you bust her. I've actually seen you bust a move with your peepaw and going crazy on the dance floor. So
why is she holding out on me? I want to see those moves.
I know. I don't know why, man. We got some funny photos of her dancing too, with her hair like flying in the air and all kinds of stuff. So, anything else to add when it comes to dancing?
No, not really.
All right. We'll keep moving on. So, when you're at a wedding, do you find the ceremony part of the wedding fun?
Boring.
Or do you think it's
she answered the question before you even finished.
I know. But why is that part boring?
It's because, like, I don't know. I'm not doing anything that's fun. I feel like once you get older, it might be less boring. But, like, to me, it's, like, boring.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's cool to see two people in love?
No.
Oh, no. At least she's honest.
That's true. Now, what do you do during the ceremony to stay entertained, or you just have to sit there and be good?
I have to sit there and be good.
Yeah. And you can do it. I will give you that. So, all right. So you talked about the food. What is the best food that you think they should have at a wedding for kids?
Cake.
And that's it?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and
chicken
cheese.
Nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
Food pyramid there.
Chicken nuggets. Hot dogs. In my case, vegetarian hot dogs.
Yeah. The black sheep of our family, the only vegetarian.
French fries.
Oh, lots of French fries? Okay.
I love French fries. So.
Any other kind of food you think they should have? No pizza?
Oh, yeah, pizza. Does hot chocolate count as food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot chocolate.
Why not? Well, what about an ice cream sundae bar?
Ice cream. Oh, you know those donuts Mom had? I forgot the name, but at her birthday, they're the donuts.
Yes. Donut flambe. Donut flambe is really good.
Mm-hmm.
You should also have those.
What about how about like a popcorn bar? Having that? What do you think?
No.
No popcorn bar?
No.
Like a bunch of different flavor? I think that would be fun for kids. Kids would love the popcorn. You would eat it up. I know you would.
I feel like if it was there, you would go to it.
Oh, I think she would too.
I would go to it, but like...
It's not your dream wedding scenario.
It's not my dream.
So we have ice cream, the donut flambe, popcorn bar.
Cake.
Oh, she said no popcorn bar.
Yeah, but I think she'd be pro popcorn. I know her pretty well. She likes.
I do eat popcorn almost every day.
It is vegetarian, Ryan, so it checks that box.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
And then hot chocolate. So maybe some kind of fun little mock cocktail for the kids, some kind of juicy something. That's another fun thing to do, right?
Or do you like Shirley Temples?
Oh.
I love Shirley Temples.
So do I. Big Shirley Temple girl.
What about
Especially
Roy?
with extra cherries.
Mm.
And she also likes Roy Rogers.
Nolan does. I order them sometimes.
Yeah. So that's another fun one. All right. So now, so do you think, since we went through all this stuff, do you think someone that's having a wedding that you invites kids should have a special menu for the kids?
Yes.
Yes. And why do you think that?
Because a lot of kids like mac and cheese and stuff like that. But I feel like adults would want more like food that's not like mac and cheese and chicken nuggets and blah, 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 that kind of stuff.
You'd be
I
surprised.
mean, they do want cake. Of course they want cake.
Obviously, Ryan's there for the cake. That's all she's mentioned cake more.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So if you were asked to help out at a wedding, like being a flower girl, would you be excited or a little nervous?
I'd be probably both because
That's a good answer.
I'd be excited because I get the flowers, but I would be nervous because I have to walk in front of like a lot of people I either don't know or a lot of people that I do know.
Either way, make you nervous.
Still, especially people that I haven't seen in a while and don't know.
And that would make you nervous?
Yeah. It would make me both. It would make me both.
Now, do you think it's a good idea to practice and do the rehearsal part?
Definitely, so that you would probably like know like how to do it and you'd feel like less nervous.
Hmm.
That's what
Now,
I
would
think.
you want the job of a ring bearer or a flower girl? Because the ring bearer, you get to bring the rings, and the flower girl, you get to throw the flowers.
Flower girl.
Okay. You want to throw flowers at
It's
people?
more interactive.
Yeah.
It's more fun because you just get to throw flowers at people. I mean,
I don't think you're throwing them at the people.
I mean,
She's taking her own approach to the job.
Exactly. We're going to do some pros and cons. So many people love having kids at the wedding because it brings joy and good energy, and you want your entire family there. You want some cute photos. Obviously, a fun dance floor with Olivia Rodrigo playing, and kids, and just the whole thing. So, Ryan,
yeah.
Let's elaborate on this. Why do you think it's going to bring joy? Why do you think it brings good energy having all that there? Having you kids at the wedding.
Okay. Maybe because kids have more energy, probably.
That's a good
especially when you give them candy. Let's be honest. Especially on Halloween too. They have a lot of energy on that day too.
So we're adding a candy bar to the food section.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that would be a good idea. Also, I feel like they probably have the best dance moves out of all the adults. The kids probably have the best dance moves.
That's a lot of big talk right there.
I know. Some drunk people might give you a run for your money on that one.
Dad, I have a question. I'm not comment. You never dance, so
I don't. That's why I'm a DJ.
You're just sitting there, so.
I will dance after a couple cocktails, and that's about it.
Is that kind of like how photographers don't like their photo being taken? It's the DJ doesn't like to bust a move.
Yeah. Yep. You'll see me like wiggle a few times on a couple songs, but that's about it. All right. So we're pro. So, but the con of having kids at the wedding, there's lots of cons actually. So you're having to create a special menu for the kids. You're having to accommodate the kids. So a lot of people will, do things like color books and just different things to keep keep kids entertained. The other one, which just happened over the weekend, and I was like, these parents weren't taking care of their kid, is that you have a baby crying during the wedding. So that
Very
happened.
annoying.
And the parents just like looked and kept watching the wedding. And I was like, if you were a baby and you were crying at a wedding, I would get up and run out of there as fast as I can. I wouldn't want the baby to be a distraction. So sometimes I think the pro is all the stuff we talked about. And then the con would be that the kids are kind of a distraction. right?
Well, what do you think would be a potential solution to have the kids there and kind of minimize those distractions?
Probably.
Go, Ryan.
Probably out like having an outside area for kids, because they don't have to bother you a lot if they're already like outside playing a lot with like different games. And I don't think you want like beanbag toss or like any games that they put out like inside. I think it'd be like a little too squished. So I think that having it outside would give more space. So
yeah, or even having like a kid area. So we're gonna probably skip here a little bit ahead, but so when we did your mom's 40th surprise birthday party, can you tell us about that kid area that we put together, Ryan? And we did it because we invited, obviously a lot of our friends have kids, and we wanted our kids' friends to be there as well. So we created a really fun area for the kids to have fun at her birthday. So what do we do?
So we had a lot of video games there. So we had like Mrs. Pac-Man, we had like a golf game, we had a bunch of different other games. And we actually have some out there, we also had like, I think, air hockey. We had this big piece of paper and a bunch of crayons off to the side. But
let me tell people how to do this, because it's a fun little trick. You get a 6-foot or 8-foot banquet table, and you get a bunch of butcher paper, and you cut it whatever the length of the table is. And then at my wife's birthday, we created a color crayon area and a marker area. So we had 2 tables, one set up for markers, one set up for crayons, and put out a bunch of crayons and markers and just let the kids go crazy drawing and creating. And then when they filled up that paper, we rolled it off, and boom, there was a blank canvas for them to start all over again. And that kept kids entertained for a long, long time.
Yeah, cost effective too, honestly.
Yeah, it really was really inexpensive to put that together for comparatively for everything else. What else? Do you remember some of the other things we had?
There's this drawer. I have a picture of me and my friend, but there's this drawer, and he would like draw you, but kind of like in a cartoon way, like that. And it was really cool.
So that's
they had that
character artist.
But a lot of the kids used it.
Yeah, it's a character artist. So they're there, and they'll draw whoever's in the photo, and you see them. We see them at Disneyland. People they do it at Disneyland now.
Oh yeah,
downtown Disney, and you don't even have to sit there anymore. You just text the artist your photo and come back.
Oh wow,
yeah, it's kind of crazy
for all ages too.
Artist. And the adults were playing. Well, I'll be honest with you. A lot of the adults were in the kids' room having fun just as much as the kids were having fun in the kids' room.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but we also had a photo booth in there, right? That was fun.
Pretty sure it was outside, but maybe.
Well, it was part of it. And then what about we had a ping pong table? You forgot about the ping pong.
Oh yeah, me and my friend were really bad at that.
And you guys had like basketball hoops too, right?
Oh yeah,
yep.
We also had that. It was really fun.
Yep.
Also, a big outside area, too.
Yes.
She loves the outside area.
Most
importantly. So with that said, if you were having kids at your wedding, you don't have to go to the extreme that we did for the birthday party. But I think having some even having a room where you have a TV with movies, depending on what age kids are going to be there. If you have some younger ones, I think that would keep them entertained, or a room or game with video games, or, something that appeals to the kids. And you'll be surprised how many of the adults are in there playing as well. So, because I think they tend to have a great time with it. So,
yeah. Then, I feel like it's just kind of taking the approach of maybe putting yourself in the kids' shoes, being at an event like a wedding, and thinking along each part of the timeline, how can we keep them entertained, and what's going to keep them having a good time too.
Well, the one time that I was a ring bearer, I was, it's funny. I remember running around like crazy, and that's all we did. And they had a band. We drank a lot of punch. I remember that. And I remember the other funny thing is I would either be one step, and my cousin which she was always like kind of like that pain in the butt cousin, but she was the flower girl with me, and I was either one step ahead of her or one step behind her. And they had to bribe me with a Mickey Mouse watch in order to get me to walk next to her. So I scored a Mickey Mouse watch out of it. But so sometimes you gotta bribe the kids to get them to come down the aisle as well.
I definitely have pulled out some gummy bears before when I needed some kids to walk down the aisle, and it did some wonders. So
yeah. So, and then one other option you can have for having kids there is bring on-site babysitting. So there's companies that do it. You can get a daycare teacher that you may or or a couple of older, like teenage girls, and run a whole like area for them. So we recently had an article in the Knot that talked about this, but I think that's also a fun way to help kids be at the wedding, but also let the parents enjoy themselves as well, because they know that their kids are being taken care of. I'll be honest with you, at my wife's party, the kids were at the age where we just kind of let them run crazy, and they had a great time, didn't they? Ryan, did you have fun at your mom's party?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
I remember it a lot. It was like 2 years ago. That was fun.
What are some of your top tips then, Ryan? Let's leave our listeners with some top tips.
Definitely invite kids, have an outside area, have a bunch of like kid food, and probably have like a babysitter, like my dad said. And then, basically, probably have ice.
So what if a bride and groom, they don't know any kids? Are you available for hire for a ring? Will you be a flower girl for them, or a ring bear if they need it? Definitely. How much do you charge? Just out of curiosity.
$5,000.
Oh, that's a little. I don't know if you'll get hired for that amount. I think you have to be a little bit less expensive than that.
How about $1 million?
No, that you're going the wrong way, girl.
School starts tomorrow.
School starts tomorrow, so you're trying to get money for school? Is that what it is?
No, I'm trying to get money.
All right, August. So our top tips, those are Ryan's top tips, and I'm sure she'd be a whole lot cheaper if you really did need her as a flower girl.
Yeah.
But some of our tips, August, give us a tip.
Okay, so our first tip is to consider the guest list. So kind of the importance of deciding whether to include kids at your wedding and how to plan around that, whether you do decide to bring them on or not. Just kind of take in the pros and cons we've gone over into consideration when creating that guest list.
And I think another tip would be, like Ryan said, having kid-friendly spaces, hiring a, caregiver to be there to help take care of the kids, especially if you're having a fair amount of kids. It's definitely worth it. There are professional companies out there, but like I said, you can always, you got a lot of high school age girls that need a job, give them a job to do for the wedding as well. So, and then this is the big one. What do you think? So you need to communicate clearly with the guests about who's invited and who's not. And I think it's you as a couple needs to set this tone ahead of time.
Early on.
Yeah, very early on. So I remember when I got married, we allowed some kids, not all kids. So it was because we had a big guest count and we didn't have room for all the kids. So the kids that were the closest to us, we invited, and the rest of them didn't get invited, and we had some hurt feelings out of it. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think anyone even remembers that now. It's been, so long. But at first, so when you're sending out your invites, have it very clear who's invited. If it's Mr. and Mrs. or, the family, that's another option. You put on there the whole Dennis family. So then, everyone's invited as well. So, because that's the hardest part, because there's a financial decision in this as well, because you're going to have to, it's going to cost you a little bit more money. More kids equal more money. So more, or even more guests equal more money.
Yes.
So anyway, all right. As we wrap it up, what do you got? Anything that we forgot, August? Do we hit all our points?
I think so. I think just, taking all of this into consideration when you do or do not decide to have kids at your wedding. We hope this was helpful. If you do decide, I mean, right from Ryan's mouth, she's letting you know what you got to do to make your wedding a success. So we're glad she was able to join us today and give us a little bit of insight on that.
100%. So, and thank you for listening to another episode of Now That I'm Engaged, How Do I Get Married? Which I'm saying it a whole lot better today.
I was gonna say,
than I was the last time we did this. It was a
little
mess,
bit of a
but
tongue
anyway.
twister.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot now that I'm engaged. How do I get married? It's a good question.
It is.
Anyway, all right. And then want to remind everyone to subscribe on wherever you're receiving your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get it, as well as on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and like. We like all that stuff. And then
share.
also and share, please share. And then also, I'm sorry, we're starting something new and we got to get out there. And then also to if you have a question or a topic that you would like us to cover, please send an email to podcast@fantasysound.com, and we'll be happy to try to feature that, answer the question, or feature that on a future episode. So Ryan, you want to say bye to everyone? And then wait, real quick, how do they contact you if they want to hire you to be a flower girl at their wedding?
Text my dad.
Oh, there you go. Text me. There you go. Oh, good one. All right. Well, Ryan, August, thank you for being here again.
Thank you for having me.
We will see you the next time on Now That I'm Engaged, How Do I Get Married? To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Now That I'm Engaged, How Do I Get Married podcast, brought to you by Fantasy Sound Event Services. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. Please get in touch with me if you have a topic you would like us to cover, or if you are struggling with your wedding planning. Please be sure to submit a question at podcast@fantasysound.com. I encourage you to check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you're a fan, we'd love if you would subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. It helps others find our podcast so they can learn from our guests too. And to everyone listening, happy wedding planning.